A man with a broken heart sounds like a phrase you might hear in a song, or maybe in the middle of a movie scene where someone just got left standing in the rain. But let me tell you, a broken heart is not just poetry, it's not just a line in a story, it's real, it's heavy. And if you've ever been there, if you've ever felt it for yourself, you know it's not just about sadness, it's about survival. It's about waking up every morning and carrying the weight of something you didn't ask for, but now it's yours. But let me tell you what people often miss when they look at her. They see the tears, the silence, the quiet withdrawal into herself. They see the way she doesn't laugh quite as loud anymore. The way she drifts off in the middle of conversations. They notice she's not the same and they think she's weaker now. But weakness isn't what's happening here. What's happening is a rebuilding. The silence is not emptiness, it's construction. The tears are not only sadness, they are cleansing. The distance is not abandonment, it's preservation. She is learning slowly, painfully, deliberately how to protect what remains of herself. And that is not weakness, that is strength in its rawest form. Because strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is simply surviving the night. Sometimes strength is saying nothing when your entire body wants to scream. Sometimes strength is putting down the phone and refusing to call the person who broke you, even though everything inside you aches to hear their voice. Sometimes strength is eating a meal when you don't have the appetite, showering when you don't see the point, or going to work when your body feels like stone. These little things may look small to the outside world, but inside they are victories, and every victory matters. Every one of those choices becomes part of her healing, because healing isn't a single event. It isn't a dramatic moment where she wakes up and says, I'm better now. Healing is the quiet collection of small acts that no one notices. It's the invisible work of showing up for yourself when no one else does. It's the rebuilding of trust, not in other people, but in your own ability to stand when everything has tried to knock you down. But here's the catch: she will wrestle with shame. Shame that she let herself fall. Shame that she didn't see the ending coming. Shame that she invested in someone who wasn't worthy of her trust. Shame that she still misses him, even after everything he did. And that shame will whisper to her, you're foolish, you're nervous, you're broken. But shame is a liar. Shame tries to make her heart hatch into her identity. Shame tries to convince her that what happened to her is who she is. But it isn't. What happened to her is an event, not a definition. It is an experience, not an identity. It is part of her story, not her title. And she must learn to separate the two. She must learn to tell herself, yes, I am hurt, but I am not the hurt itself. Yes, I am brokenhearted, but I am not only the broken heart. I am more than what I lost. I am more than who left me. I am more than this pain, because the truth is heartbreak can either make her smaller or make her larger. It can shrink her into fear, or it can expand her into wisdom. It can trap her in bitterness, can release her into compassion. It can bury her, or it can plant her. The choice won't feel obvious in the moment. In fact, most days it won't feel like a choice at all. It will feel like she is drowning. But the very act of breathing in the middle of that drowning is proof that she's choosing life, even if she doesn't realize it. And as the days pass, she will begin to notice small shifts. The first laugh that feels real. The first night she sleeps without dreams of him. The first song she hears without crying. The first time she walks into a room and forgets for a few hours that she's missing something. These little moments are not the absence of pain. They are the presence of growth. They are signals that her heart is not frozen, that her soul is not finished, that her spirit is quietly rebuilding itself behind the scenes. And then one day she will realize something profound. Her broken heart has taught her things no whole heart ever could. It has taught her that love is a risk, but one worth taking. It has taught her that her value is not tied to another person's decision to stay or leave. It has taught her that she is capable of enduring more than she ever thought possible. It has taught her empathy for others who are hurting, because now she knows the sound of that silence, the weight of that ache. And maybe, just maybe, it will teach her the most important lesson of all, that she is enough on her own. Not because she's perfect, not because she doesn't need anyone, but because she is whole even when she feels shattered, because her worth was never something another person could give or take away. But before that lesson settles in, she will face loneliness. Loneliness is the shadow that follows heartbreak, the silence that echoes after the noise of love is gone. And loneliness can feel heavier than heartbreak itself. It can make her question everything. It can make her believe that no one will ever choose her again, that no one will ever see her the way he once did. And in that loneliness, she may be tempted to go back, to accept less than she deserves, to cling to someone who only caused her pain, because even pain feels safer than emptiness. But this is where her courage must speak. This is where she must say, no. I would rather sit with loneliness than sit with betrayal. I would rather be alone with my dignity than together with my destruction. I would rather wait for love that is real than settle for love that is cruel. And when she makes that choice, even once, that is when she begins to rebuild herself. Because the truth is, Loneliness is not the enemy. Loneliness is the teacher. Loneliness is the mirror that shows her what she really needs. Loneliness is the silence where she learns to hear her own voice again. Loneliness is the space where she discovers that she is not unlovable. She is simply unbroken enough to wait for someone who knows how to love her right. And while the world might pity her, calling her the woman with a broken heart, they don't understand that she is becoming something extraordinary. They don't understand that her broken heart is not her end, it is her transformation. Like a seed that must break open to grow, her heart has cracked, and from that crack, something new will emerge, something stronger, something wiser, something more powerful than she ever imagined, because pain always carries with it a gift, not a gift we want, not a gift we ask for, but a gift nonetheless. And the gift of her broken heart will be perspective. She will see through lies quicker. She will recognize red flags sooner. She will value honesty more deeply. She will cherish loyalty with new eyes. She will understand herself in ways she never did before. She will stop apologizing for her needs because she will finally realize that her needs are not a burden. They are boundaries. And boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates to protect the sacred inside. And perhaps most beautifully, she will learn to love again. Not in the same way, not recklessly, not blindly, but with clarity, with wisdom, with courage. Because it takes courage to love after heartbreak. It takes courage to trust again after betrayal. It takes courage to let someone close enough to hurt you again. But she will, because love is in her nature. And the fact that she was broken does not mean she cannot love. It means she knows the cost of love and still chooses to give it. So yes, today she is the woman with the broken heart. But tomorrow, she will be the woman who rose from it. She will be the woman who discovered herself in the ashes. She will be the woman who built a life not in spite of her heartbreak, but because of it. And when she walks into a room years from now, smiling, laughing, glowing with a peace that only comes from survival, no one will see the cracks. No one will know the nights she cried herself to sleep. No one will understand the battle she fought silently. But she will know, and that knowing will make her radiant. And as time moves forward, something subtle begins to happen. She notices herself less defined by the absence of him and more by the presence of herself. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the middle of ordinary days, almost without her realizing it. One morning she wakes up and doesn't immediately think of him. One afternoon she catches herself humming a song and realizes it's been hours since her heart carried the weight of his memory. One evening she sits alone in her room and instead of feeling crushed by silence, she feels at peace in it. That's the quiet proof of healing. It's not dramatic. It doesn't announce itself. It simply arrives piece by piece until she realizes she's been breathing easier than she thought. But even in those moments, the broken heart lingers. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is not erasing. Healing is carrying the memory differently. At first, the memory is heavy, jagged, cutting into her whenever she touches it. But slowly, with time, the edges soften. The weight lessens. She still carries it, but it no longer crushes her. It no longer controls her. It becomes a scar, not an open wound. And scars, though they are marks of pain, are also marks of survival. They tell the story of where she has been and what she has overcome. People will look at her and call her resilient. They will admire her strength, her courage, her ability to stand after being knocked down. But what they won't see is the process. They won't see the nights she nearly gave up. They won't see the morning she dragged herself out of bed through sheer willpower. They won't see the inner battles she fought against bitterness, against despair, against the temptation to numb herself completely. They won't see the way she chose again and again to keep going when stopping would have been easier. They won't see the tears, the prayers, the quiet conversations with herself in the mirror saying, "You can make it." They won't see that resilience is not glamorous. It is gritty. It is raw. It is forged in the fire of heartbreak. And she will discover something else, something she may not have believed in before, that joy can coexist with pain, that laughter can live beside grief, that love for life can return even while the scar remains, because the broken heart does not erase her capacity for joy. If anything, it deepens it. It makes the small moments sweeter. The cup of coffee in the morning, the hug from a child, the sunlight breaking through the blinds. She will find herself cherishing what she once overlooked. Because heartbreak has taught her how fragile, how fleeting, how precious joy really is. And yet, the broken heart will still test her. There will be setbacks. There will be days when an old song, a familiar smell, a photograph, or a random memory will flood her eyes with tears. There will be nights when loneliness will whisper that maybe she isn't worth it. Maybe she'll never find love again. Maybe she's destined to remain broken. And those whispers can be cruel. They can feel louder than the truth. But even in those moments, she has something she didn't have before: evidence. Evidence that she has survived every hard day so far. Evidence that she has felt the sharpest pain and still resin from it. Evidence that her heart, though broken, still beats, still hopes, still dreams. And that evidence will carry her through the shadows until she finds light again. And then comes one of the most profound shifts. She begins to trust herself. Trust is one of the first casualties of heartbreak. She wonders, how could I have missed the signs? How could I have believed in something that ended? How can I trust myself again to choose wisely, to love wisely? But slowly, as she rebuilds her life, she realizes that trusting herself does not mean she will never be hurt again. It means she believes in her own strength to recover if she is. It means she knows she can survive disappointment. It means she no longer fears love because she no longer fears the possibility of loss. She has already faced loss and lived. And from that trust comes freedom, freedom to be herself without apology, freedom to love without desperation, freedom to say no when something doesn't align with her soul, freedom to walk away when someone cannot meet her heart with respect, freedom to live boldly, because she has learned that life is too short to shrink herself for the comfort of others. Her broken heart has taught her not just to survive, but to live in truth. And the world will notice. People will see her walking into a room with confidence, speaking with clarity, holding herself with dignity. They may not know the story of her broken heart, but they will feel the power of a woman who has rebuilt herself from ashes. They will feel the quiet fire in her presence, the strength in her voice, the wisdom in her eyes. And that is the paradox of a broken heart. It breaks you open so that the light can pour out. But make no mistake, her journey will still be challenged. There will be people who don't understand her boundaries. There will be those who expect her to shrink back into old patterns. There will be those who are intimidated by her strength. There will be those who try to remind her of her past pain as if to keep her trapped in it. But she will not be trapped. She has walked through the valley of heartbreak, and she has learned that she does not need to explain her healing to anyone. She does not need permission to rise. She does not need approval to grow. She belongs to herself now in a way she never did before. And this belonging, this self-ownership is perhaps the greatest gift of all. For so long, she belonged to someone else's opinion, someone else's validation, someone else's love. Now she belongs to herself. Her worth is not a negotiation. Her heart is not a bargaining chip. Her love is not a currency to be wasted. She has learned that she is the prize, she is the gift, she is the miracle. And anyone who cannot see that does not deserve the privilege of her presence. And when love does come again, and it will meet her differently. She will not hand over her heart carelessly. She will not ignore the red flags. She will not settle for words without action, promises without consistency, affection without respect. She will require more because she has learned she deserves more. And the right person will rise to meet her standards, not shrink them. The right person will not fear her scars, but honor them. The right person will not run from her strength, but admire it. The right person will not take her broken heart as baggage, but as evidence of her courage to love. But whether or not that love comes, she is already whole. That's the real transformation. For the first time, she does not see love as something that completes her. She sees love as something that complements her. She is already complete. She is already enough. She is already worthy. The broken heart has not diminished her. It has revealed her. And that is the story the world needs to hear. Not just that a woman with a broken heart hurts, but that a woman with a broken heart rises. That she becomes not just who she was before, but someone greater. That her brokenness is not her weakness, but her awakening.